In the grand theater of life, our actions are what define us. This is a powerful reminder from the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius that our actions speak louder than our words. It is said that what drives action is motivation, and what motivates motivation is emotion. But what happens when that flame flickers and wanes? How do we get ourselves to act when inspiration seems as far away as the stars? We've all had times when our energy drops and our goals seem out of reach, not because we don't want them, but because we don't have the emotional drive to pursue them. In these times, Stoicism can help us find our way. Stoicism's deep teachings push us to look beyond our changing emotions and find a deeper, more stable drive within. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Plans fail because they have no aim. When a man doesn't know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind." This is a call to define our purpose, set our sights on our own harbor, and navigate the seas of life with determination and wisdom. Come with me as we explore these 7 Stoic lessons. Each one will help you get better at taking action on your own. Let's look at the Stoic way to get out of a funk, change our minds, and spark the flames of self-driven purpose. In these lessons, we'll learn how to base our actions on Stoic virtue, which will help us become resilient enough to not let our emotions get in the way of our goals. But before we do that, I want to challenge you to stay tuned until the end and not miss any of the lessons on your journey of self-discovery today. Accept this Stoic advice and let it show you the way to action, personal growth, and a life lived with unwavering resolve. 1. Discipline yourself. Having self-control, the foundation of Stoic philosophy, acts as a beacon, urging us to take action and reach our fullest potential. Marcus Aurelius pushed for this disciplined control over one's thoughts and actions, saying that being able to control how we react to life's ups and downs is the ultimate freedom. In the embrace of self-discipline, we don't feel the chains of limitation, but the wings of freedom, pushing us to act not on whims but with purpose and reason. But how does self-discipline bring out this drive to act and move beyond the limits of inaction? It starts with recognizing our power, the calm revelation that we have the power to control our own lives. Through self-discipline, we can control our urges, wants, and fears, making them work for us. It's like having a steady hand that leads us back to our road when other things come up. Self-discipline means making sure that our actions are in line with our greater values. To develop self-discipline, a constant return to what is good and right is necessary. People should listen to the counsel of Epictetus, who said that doing good things over and over again until they become second nature is wise. Start each day by thinking about your beliefs, setting goals that align with your greatest ideals, and doing things that test your willpower in small, manageable ways. Over time, this will help you become better at self-regulation. It is through these daily acts of discipline that a big tapestry of character is made, one good thread at a time. The Stoic journey to self-discipline is marked by times of struggle, giving up, and starting over. Seneca, who had a keen understanding of the human condition, saw the value in these trials. He said that we are polished and made stronger when we face our weaknesses in the fiery trial of our resolve. Seneca's lessons on self-discipline speak to the resilience of the human spirit, urging us to rise each time we fall, ever committed to the path of improvement. Thus, self-discipline emerges not as a mere tactic for productivity, but as a profound spiritual practice, a commitment to living in harmony with the natural order and our place within it. It's the quiet resolve to act with integrity, to honor our commitments to ourselves and others, and to pursue our goals with unwavering dedication. In reflecting on the Stoic lessons of self-discipline, we are called to ask ourselves, how might we fortify our resolve to act? In what ways can we align our daily practices with the virtues we hold dear? Let us remember that in the cultivation of self-discipline lies the key to unlocking our true potential, to transforming thought into action and aspirations into reality. It is through self-discipline that we carve a path through the wilderness of life, guided by the light of Stoic wisdom, toward a future of our own making, rich with purpose and peace. Stoic thought is based on discipline, which helps people control themselves, make smart decisions, and find inner peace. As the Stoics saw it, real freedom comes from within and can only be reached by being very strict with yourself. By controlling our urges, wants, and responses, we build a strong mind that can handle the trials of life with calm understanding. The Stoics stress the difference between what we can control and what we can't. Being aware of this helps us focus on things we can change, like our moods, behaviors, and thoughts. Remind yourself often of the things you have power over. When you're in a tough position, take a moment to think about whether it's something you can change. Instead of trying to control what happens outside of you, focus on how you react. Being self-aware is an important part of being self-disciplined. Being aware of our feelings and thoughts can help us figure out what sets off our automatic reactions. Reflect on your day, or write in a journal to keep track of your actions and thoughts. Ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing and think about whether it fits with your morals and long-term goals. Use what you've learned to make smarter choices. 2. Accept your pain. According to the Stoics, problems and pain are chances to grow. By voluntarily going through pain, we make ourselves stronger and more resilient. Incorporate small, doable pains into your daily life. This could mean taking cold baths, fasting, or working out. These habits will help you get used to being uncomfortable over time, making you better prepared to deal with bigger problems. Make your priorities and goals clear. Having clear priorities and goals helps us stay on track and follow through. When our actions align with our long-term goals, we are less likely to give in to urges or distractions. Write down your long-term goals and divide them into steps that you can take. Sort your tasks into groups based on how important and urgent they are. Keep an eye on your work and make changes to your plans as needed to stay on track. Develop your patience and determination. To be disciplined, we need to be patient and able to stick to our goals, even when things go wrong. The Stoics teach that sticking with something, even when things get hard, is important for personal growth and happiness. Setting realistic goals for your growth will help you be more patient when problems arise. Remind yourself that setbacks are a normal part of the journey. Stay dedicated to your objectives and see every problem as a chance to strengthen your resolve. According to Stoic ideas, disciplining yourself means learning about control, becoming more self-aware, accepting discomfort, having clear goals, and developing patience and persistence. By doing these things every day, you can train your mind to be focused and able to handle the challenges of life with grace and strength. 3. Stop putting things off and being lazy. Procrastination and laziness are two things that often get in the way of our Stoic journey toward wisdom and virtue. These aren't just problems with our tasks, they're also problems with our very development as rational and virtuous people. We choose the path of least resistance because it's easier, which means that our greatest potential suffers in the shadows of inaction. This indulgence, this compromise with ease over effort, pulls us away from our true path, leaving our goals as specters on the horizon, always visible but never reached, always out of reach. But there is a powerful antidote to this in the Stoic tradition. The key to beating procrastination and laziness is not some mysterious knowledge, but in the principles of Stoicism itself. Recognizing that the present moment is all we have, and that it is in this moment that we have the power to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. In his thoughts, Marcus Aurelius told us to live each day as if it were our last, reminding us that death doesn't wait, so neither should we when it comes to our good deeds. Epictetus, with his unique clarity, taught us that we are the masters of our own fates and that the things we do shape who we are. He urged us to see habits like putting things off and being lazy not as habits, but as choices against our higher nature, choices to be less than we are capable of being. To beat these habits, we must welcome discomfort as a friend and a growth catalyst, and do our work with mindfulness and purpose. Seneca offers guidance, emphasizing the brevity of life and the folly of postponing our endeavors. He observed that while we are diligent in protecting our property from theft, we allow others and indeed ourselves to steal our time with impunity. To counteract this, Seneca advises a life of order where each day is allocated purposefully. and distractions are recognized for the thieves they are. Thus, to overcome procrastination and laziness, we must cultivate a Stoic mindset. We must embrace discipline not as a burden but as a liberation. We must practice mindfulness, living fully in each task. Most importantly, we must remember that our time is finite, and that each moment squandered is a moment lost to virtue and achievement. As we strive to free ourselves from the shackles of inaction, let us hold fast to the Stoic wisdom that calls us to live with purpose, to act with urgency, and to make each moment a step toward our higher selves. 4. Learn to meditate. The Stoic practice of meditation, which is also called reflection or contemplation, is a strong way to become more self-aware and in charge of your thoughts, actions, and feelings. By meditating often, we can become more aware of ourselves, which is important for self-discipline. This kind of reflection isn't the same as modern mindfulness meditation, even though both involve looking inside. Instead, Stoic meditation is more focused and thoughtful, and is meant to help you look at your values, beliefs, and goals. At its core, Stoic meditation is about figuring out what really matters in life. It involves mentally running through the day ahead, or the day that has just passed, and thinking about how one's actions have matched up with one's values and principles. When we take the time to think about our actions and thoughts, we strengthen our inner discipline and make it easier to stay on the path of virtue. This practice not only keeps us on track with our goals, but also helps us deal with life's problems better. When we think about how things could go wrong, we prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for any problems that might come up. By doing this, we make our minds stronger and less likely to be surprised or upset by unexpected events. Through the process of reflecting on what went wrong, we can learn to handle tough situations and get stronger and smarter as a result. The benefits of this kind of meditation are many, and they have to do with how we act. For one, it makes us more aware of how we act every day. By taking time to think about what we do, we become more aware of the times when we give in to impulses or desires that go against our values. This self-awareness is the first step to making changes, because it lets us see clearly where we need to work on ourselves. Also, Stoic meditation helps us take full responsibility for our actions. It reminds us that every action we take has consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the whole world. When we think about these things, we become more aware of how our choices affect our overall goal of living a virtuous life. This makes us more likely to act in a way that is in line with our best selves. In turn, this sense of accountability gives us more power over ourselves and strengthens our commitment to self-discipline. The practice of Stoic meditation is a personal journey with a lot of potential. By adopting this method, we open ourselves up to constant improvement and growth. It gives us a quiet space where we can align our actions with our values, reflect on the difficulties of life, and strengthen our resolve to follow the Stoic path. As we continue to practice this ancient art, we see how it changes us. It leads us to a place of deep self-discipline and inner peace that can't be shaken by the outside world. 5. You get what you give. People think Stoicism is a set of rules, but at its core, it is about virtue and being in touch with the divine spark that exists in every person. The core of Stoic philosophy is the idea that our actions should be guided by virtue. This is a reminder that who we are is shown not by what we say or think, but by what we do. When we choose to act virtuously, we align ourselves with the Stoic idea of the good life, which is a life that is in line with nature, full of moral purpose and free from things like wealth and fame that don't matter. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often stressed the importance of living with integrity and doing what we can to help others. The fruit of this life, he said, is a good character and acts for the common good. The Stoics also thought that virtue is not just a goal in itself, but also the key to a happy and satisfying life. Seneca wrote, "Virtue alone is our invincible and immortal good." When we make virtue our guide, we not only find happiness, but also freedom from the ups and downs of life. This shows us how to stay strong in the face of hardship, with a firm resolve that no outside force can shake. The idea that you get what you give sums up the Stoic way of life. Stoicism teaches us that our actions have consequences that go beyond what we do in the moment. This idea is best summed up in the Stoic idea of the dichotomy of control, which tells us to focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes, and let go of what we can't. By doing virtuous things, we set up a cycle that helps us grow as people and makes the world a better place for everyone. The Stoics saw that the universe was a living, interconnected whole, and that each of us is a part of this larger whole. Because of this connection, our actions have effects that go far beyond our own lives. When we act with virtue, we bring harmony and order to our surroundings, which are a reflection of the divine order of the universe. On the other hand, when we act without virtue, we mess up this harmony and hurt both ourselves and the world around us. In this context, the idea that you get what you give reminds us of our duty to live with virtue and to understand how our actions affect the whole world. When we choose to act with kindness, fairness, and wisdom, we bring more of these qualities into our lives and the lives of those around us. This idea is a way to look at the natural law and harmony that the Stoics believed were important. They said that living by virtue is the only way to live in harmony with the universe, and that anything less is a betrayal of our nature and a threat to our peace and happiness. When we think about this Stoic idea, we realize that our actions matter a lot. They are like ripples in a pond that spread out in all directions, affecting not just our lives, but also the lives of everyone we meet. By doing virtuous things, we make the world a better place and get back in touch with our divine nature. This helps us live a life of meaning, purpose, and inner peace. The Stoics tell us to be careful about the energy we put out into the world. When we put in virtues like kindness, patience, and understanding, the world gives us back in ways that match what we did. This karmic cycle reminds us that even the smallest actions can have big effects, so we should always choose the path of virtue, even when it's hard. The idea that you get what you give goes beyond karma and focuses on how closely linked virtue and happiness are. By doing virtuous things, we bring inner peace and satisfaction into our lives and the lives of others. In Stoic thought, the true measure of a person's worth is not in what they get, but in how much good they bring to the world. This way of thinking helps us see that living a good life is not about what we can get for ourselves, but about how much we can give to others, making the world a better place for everyone. 6. Change yourself to change the world. According to the Stoics, it is impossible to change the world without first changing oneself. Our relationship with the world is influenced by how we see and interpret it. Therefore, to change the world, we must first change how we see it. If we want the world to be fairer, more compassionate, and more peaceful, we must start by cultivating these qualities in ourselves. Only when we change our perspective can we truly impact the world around us. 7. Get better with your emotions. In Stoic philosophy, emotions are not seen as inherently good or bad, but as natural human experiences that need to be managed. Stoics don't try to get rid of their feelings. Instead, they try to control them so they don't cloud their judgment or cause them to act against their values. This doesn't mean ignoring emotions. It means facing them with wisdom and calmness, realizing that our response to them is what matters most. To get better at controlling your feelings, you should start by thinking about how they make you feel. When you feel something strong, take a step back and ask yourself why you feel that way. What caused this feeling? Is it based on what actually happened, or is it based on how you interpreted it? By questioning your feelings, you can better understand them and keep them from taking over your actions. Next, practice detachment. Seneca teaches us that we shouldn't be too tied to things, people, or ideas because they can all be lost or changed. This isn't the same as not caring. Instead, it's about understanding that everything is temporary and that getting too attached can cause unnecessary pain. By keeping a healthy distance from our feelings, we can look at situations with a clear mind and act according to our values, not our desires or fears. Lastly, try to think about the end goal when dealing with your feelings. Epictetus says that when we think about the results of giving into or resisting an emotion, we are more likely to act wisely. This could mean thinking about how your feelings will affect your relationships, work, or well-being. By looking at things from this bigger picture, you can get out of the heat of the moment and make decisions that fit with your long-term goals and values. By learning how to deal with your emotions better, you can avoid making decisions you might later regret and live a life of virtue and wisdom, as the Stoics taught. This approach to emotions doesn't eliminate them, but channels them in ways that lead to a life of purpose and fulfillment, aligned with the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature. In embracing the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we are called not merely to reflect, but to act, to transform our lives by aligning our actions with virtue, self-discipline, and inner peace. The principles discussed guide us on a path of self-mastery, urging us to overcome procrastination, manage our emotions, and lead lives of purpose and integrity. As you continue your journey toward personal growth and Stoic wisdom, I encourage you to share this experience with others. If these insights have resonated with you, don't hesitate to like this post, leave a comment with your thoughts, or share how Stoic teachings have impacted your life. Your engagement helps build a community of like-minded individuals striving for excellence, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of life. Moreover, if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more content like this. By staying connected, you'll receive regular updates on Stoic philosophy, personal development, and actionable steps to live a more fulfilling life. Together, let's continue to explore the path of wisdom, grow as individuals, and support each other on this shared journey. Thank you for being a part of this community. Your presence and participation are truly valued.